Right. Hello, everybody. This is Debbie from Teacher Success Coach with a different episode. And it's going to be for the next 4 weeks on a Wednesday, looking at International Women's Month. Not just week, International Women's Month, where I would be having a group of women and we'll be sharing our triumph and challenges of being in some jobs which might be predominantly male and how we're navigating it, how we see ourselves within that industry, and what some of the challenges that we are experiencing within that challenges, that industry, and how we actually navigating it. Because after all, we need to make sure that we are here. And people are very much aware that how we contribute and what we do. Because a lot of time what we do are given lip service. So it's important that we share our story so that people know the gift that we bring to society and how important our gifts are. So, hello women, it's fantastic having you guys come on to share our stories with the world so they know the gifts that we have and how important our gifts are to society, to moving society forward, right? So I'll ask you to introduce yourselves, tell us what you do, tell us what country you come from, tell us your name, and let's go for it. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Who's going to go first?
I first.
Okay. Yes, go.
Hi everyone, my name's Davina Campbell and I am based in the northwest of UK at the moment, and industries. So I kind of moved around a bit. I originally qualified as an accountant and worked in industries, so within companies, for a number of years. Then I transitioned over into more of an IT role. So I do IT consultancy and project management. I have started my own consultancy doing that. So I do a lot of work within businesses around processes and system implementations, training, things like that. And I outsource for developers where that's needed. And I also am director of another company, which is a life coaching company, but it's not just life coaching for individuals. We specialize in employee disengagement. So within that sort of process thing, we look at, we go into businesses and we look at where we have employees who are unhappy. And rather than the traditional ways of HR management or managing them out, we coach those disengaged employees to help them find out what they want, whether that's to stay or whether that's to leave. Then there's a win-win situation for the employer and the employee. And we're all about people being happy when they wake up in the morning and doing what they're passionate about, rather than being unhappy and then sort of, making people around them unhappy. Mm-hmm. That's what I do. As part of my tech company, I'm very, very passionate about helping young people to get into tech. I think there's a wide range of career choices, and it's not just coding, it's not just gaming or things like that. There's so many different things you can do in the tech industry. And I feel like young people, especially Black young people, may not realize what those careers are. Myself, I was told an accountant, doctor, lawyer, oh, forget it. So I did the accountancy route. Now I know there's more to it than that. So I think education is key, awareness is key, and then opportunities. So that's what my focus is.
Can you see me? I'm not too sure what's happening to my laptop. Okay. Can you hear me? Mm-hmm. Okay. Thanks, Davina.
That was so cool. And it also fits so nicely with International Women's Day theme of innovation and tech. Yay, women in tech.
Yeah, that's true. Exactly.
Really, really good.
Who wants to go next?
I can go.
Yeah, see, that's okay. You were talking.
Yeah. So I am Frederic. I am originally from, you would guess from my accent, I cannot hide, from France originally. I'm French Caribbean from my parents. I moved to the UK 20 years ago. And what I'm doing, I'm in fitness. I'm a Zumba instructor. And I teach especially women. I have more women, but men, it's really a mixed audience that I have. my aim is to really show people that we can keep active, whatever our age, and keep going. So I've started my business when I was after my midlife crisis. So, lacking a bit of motivation and energy. And this is something that was really strange for me because I'm quite energetic. So I was like, what's happening? So, and it's because of the lifestyle that has changed. I was working in the office. I have a 9-to-5 job. I was sitting all day and I didn't understand that that was what was killing my energy because I was not as active as my body wanted to. So I've started to exercise and find it really nice. And I joined a Zumba class, fell in love. And this activated a passion I have to be a professional dancer. So here I am teaching Zumba and having as well a 9-to-5 job and having my energy back and wanted to share that to people and really to show that, okay, mindset first, it's something that I had to work on and I share as well on my platform. And I have a 9-to-5 job. I have a business as well where I teach Zumba. I created my brand to have everything under that, Fit Groove. And today, this is what I'm sharing to people to say, you know what, you can have a 9-to-5 job, you can exercise as well, you can do your business, you can go to a nice, great meeting, empowering meeting like today, you can travel the world, you can have all these dreams that you want to and go after because you will have the energy to do so. You will feel good inside and out. And it's really about, I put the focus really on fitness and in a fun way, because this is another thing as well. For me to be able to do exercise, it was like boring to go to aerobic lifting things. It was not something that was really engaging. And dancing, I can do that even if I'm, not to my best. I can dance, and I found that it's something that people can have. Sometimes you don't know what it is that you can do, that you will not even realize that you exercise. So having fun and keeping fit and having this energy to go after your dream really. So this is what I'm doing.
I know, fantastic, thank you. Realize I'm mute all the time. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well done. Who's gonna go next?
Well, as another French person, I would.
Nice. Bonsoir.
Oh my goodness, that's brilliant.
Bijou, I would like bijou.
Exactement.
Voilà. We are not being rude, guys. It's just like when you find someone, we like to connect a bit, but hey, we teach you as well.
Right. We understand.
We teach you, and you should know a bit from your French class.
Okay. Yes, absolutely. So my name is Bijou. I'm here known on Instagram here as Curvy Girl. So the original Instagram was Curvy Girl and was deleted last year with pretty much all my Instagrams. I had quite a few. I don't know exactly what it is about. We have a guest, we have a wild guest because I'm dressed in pink because you saw that my title is Bijou Ted Gala. So actually this I Am Curvy Girl is very anonymous but Instagram, because people knows me as Bijou Ted Gala, which I'm organizing a gala in London for thyroid eye disease, which literally took all my life. And I'm also a model agent, known for a la carte model agency. So I don't know if a few of you guys know, but I'm here totally incognito. The other page is where kind of more profiling and I would say high profile. So I try to keep a little secret garden. And that's why I studied Curvy Girl, because in London, people were quite surprised that a big Black woman will represent Fashion Week girls. It all started like that.
Stereotype, isn't it?
So last year, it's in 2020, where after 25 years as a model agent, people wonder how obesity stopped. Well, being Black, first of all. Someone asked me, why don't you represent big Black women? And I thought, well, I prefer to represent skinny white girls. What's the problem? So I don't think it went down well. And someone asked me as well, how do I keep the girls so slim? And I told the guy, well, I eat their food. So it keeps me big and it keeps them skinny. So I think it didn't go well either. So they were like, who's that French girl who came like in the 1990s? And literally I came here 30, well, in 92, but I've been coming every year pretty much since I'm 10. I'm originally from West Africa, Togo and Ghana. So Togolese people go to Germany, France, and Ghanaian comes to England. So I'll be coming to my mom's family every year since 1978. So that's where I discovered London. I'm not that young. So pretty much, how did I become big? My story is I am fat and it's not my fault. Pretty much as a fashion model in the 1990s, I was a victim of a medical mistake and I put on 20 kilo in 10 days. And then they had to save my life with another sort of 25 kilo with a steroid overdose. So the whole story started like that. So as a fashion model, I became in bed and at home pretty much all the time. And that's how the other fashion model in the 1990s, where we didn't have internet, were literally calling me. The designer would be calling me, and soon that I know, I set up a model agency. Here I was as a model agent, and I came back to England in 1997. I was repatriated from air ambulance from London in 96. I was one of the girls on the carnival parade. And I thought I was dying, so I jumped off the truck and lay on the floor. And that's how my whole story started. I thought it would take me 5-10 years to recover, but I didn't realize that I signed for the whole life. So pretty much a lot of things after 8-9 operation, getting my eyes back in my bone socket, accident, medical mistake, breast cancer. I finally thought to myself, well, 32 years has passed and I'm still alive. So let's go, let's do something about it. And I think what they couldn't understand is someone who has so much medical accident background, being Black, being obese. I was still booking girls from the fashion week. So I'll be at the shows and people would say, where's the agent? And I'll say, it's me. And they'll be like, really? It just happened last Sunday. Someone just said, are you an agent? Really? So it always shocked people. And I thought during those years where I've been on the front scene, mingle around with celebrity, interviewing people like Paul McCartney, Kenzo, and the whole so forth, I realized that people at the right top are more tolerant than all the way through. People who are secure, who are multi-billionaires, millionaires, they've made it happen, they're understanding. What happened is, we call it mérite in French. It means that it's achievement based. If you can break the barrier, thanks to your contact, thanks to your courage, thanks to your dedication, your resilience, you can make it happen. And I'm the living proof of it. At some point, Channel 4 wanted to do a show on me for 1.5 years following me, and it called Risking It All. I don't know if you know that show. And I almost said yes, but then I thought, I don't want to become one of those TV reality people. I was risking my life every day, yes, indeed. But what I've learned and what I'm coming to you, because you're a teacher originally, someone asked me last Sunday, so you're a model agent, you don't have children? I said, no, but I almost had over 70 kids. It's like what I've learned through why the parents will trust me with their daughters from Germany, from Australia, from Brazil, from everywhere, from 11 till about 14, 15, is the mothers and the parents and the fathers will hear my story. And they will wonder, are you still willing to work regardless of what happened to you? And I realized is the teaching. What I've given to those young boys and girls, especially most of them are white. I probably had in total 4 or 5 Black people in my book since 25 years, roughly. Well, about 10, is that they saw a different type of life. They saw where we, as especially Black women, which I find out being in that group of people, Bahamas, French Riviera, we are the bottom of the food chain and we don't stick around. We don't stick together. And I would see other Black women attacking Black women. And I think we so much have to give to the world that we don't even know about it. And I was in the Bahamas literally 2 months ago in January. And you'll see white women trying to connect and trying to ask us questions, but it's usually the Black women that would interfere. And I thought teaching is what we need to tattoo on our forehead from the background. Because any models, because I've been accused also not booking Black girls, and I'll find out that they are the one who messed me up. most of the time. And it's a shame because there's something we need to break the barrier of that fear that there is not space enough for everybody at the top, which there is.
There's plenty
Of space. And it's from the background, like you said, in the classroom. But I join you from what you've said, that even us in France, there's 36, 40 kids per class, and you'll go in the suburb. I'm from the suburb, but I was lucky my parents worked at the embassy and were in the medicals. But in the suburbs, you enter a classroom and there's 40 Black, Arabs, whatever kids. And the payment, what they pay the teachers, don't allow them to go one by one to one by one, you know. But I think it's us in the community that needs to change the narrative. The narrative is not about that. Struggle should not be associated with Black women. And that's where now I'm coaching young girls, and especially people who want to get into this so-called elite industry, television, modeling, singing, dancing, things that where people approach their parents, they'll say, no, that's not a job. However, people are making money. People are really succeeding with that. People are bloggers, influencers. But again, if you see in the Black community, we don't have anything that lifts the kids. And that say, you know what, right now in 2023, this is your year. It doesn't mean positive discrimination. It means actually that it's about worth. It's about being enough, you see? So that's a bit my journey since I've been the model, the dancer. I joined you. I've been an aerobic instructor. I arrived in England in 92. And I'm thinking 31 years later, where are we?
Wow. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Wow. Thank you. Okay, there are two more people. Is it Faith and
Yes, story.
Hi, good evening. Can I go now?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Hi.
So I have a young man that is quiet right now. So let me go ahead and talk before he gets busy with me again. Okay, my name is Faith James. I've worked for close to 10 years before I got married. And I had my baby 2 years ago. That's 2022. Oh, last year. Oh, wow. Okay, last year, January. And I had to quit. I had to quit my job. That means I stopped working in 2021. That was close to 10 years of working. I had to quit my job because I had high risk pregnancy and I wasn't ready to go back to work after 2 months. And I had to have my baby through CS, and so it was a lot of work. I did not see myself going back to work after that. So I had to start thinking, what next? What is the next thing for me after having my baby and all? Okay, while I was working, I worked as a brand manager. I also worked as a marketing executive, and I also planned events in the line of work. It was fun while I was working. It was a whole lot of fun. Then baby happened and we now went remote. Thanks to 2020 COVID, remote became a thing. So I went remote as a new mom. I started, so I channeled, I was in the media all the while, and I had to channel my energy into social media management, project management for the ones I can handle, based on whatever it is I was going through at the time. And till today, I'm still managing social media. I'm still working remote. I'm open to work now because my baby is 1 year. So I'm open to work now. And thankfully, I'm transitioning into tech. Hello, all the tech people there. I'm transitioning into tech, but not the data, all those data stuff. No, please, thank you. I'm transitioning as a project manager and a product manager, writing my certificate, in the certificate process at the moment. And it's been fun because I love solving problems from where I'm coming from as someone that's been in the workforce. I plan events, I manage a brand. I used to manage a brand. So I like seeing things work in a certain way and ensure that solutions are being given to things like that. So product management has been fun learning, and I'm in the process and I'm loving it. Like I said, I'm a social media manager at the moment, and it's been fun. And I'm also a mother, and it's been fun. All thanks to this young man that's making me not want to concentrate here. It's been fun and it's been challenging. It's not been easy balancing work and being a mother. It has not been easy. I don't know how people do it, especially people that have more than one kid. I don't know how they do it, but it's been tough. For instance, I told Debbie that I'll be late today because the agreement I had with my husband is to come home on time so that you can manage this young man while I concentrate here. Guess what? He's been called off to work and he's not coming home. So guess what happens? I'm stuck with this man, with this young boy here. So it's been tough, but it's been fun. It's a learning process for me, as someone that loves work, but has to be a mother. So it's been fun and a learning process. And the new learning process that is scary, but very, very looking very, very enjoyable is the transition into tech. I can't wait to be called a tech babe. For all you guys to make money, I'm calling girls. Yeah, that's me.
I love it. Thank you for that. Great.
Actually, can I have a question? Can we see the young man? Because, you said something so powerful.
Of course, you can.
He's out tomorrow.
Hello.
Hello, baby.
Hello.
Hello.
There you go.
Yes,
He should be part of the meeting. He should stick around. He's out tomorrow.
Exactly.
Hello.
Yeah.
It's part of the conversation. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Hello.
It's never too young to learn, to be
Exactly.
tomorrow.
Yep.
Very true. Very true. Thank you so much, everyone.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, did you speak?
I didn't know. So, Yaz, I am loving all the tech babes, but I am afraid I've left being a tech babe. I've gone the other way. So I started out in digital publishing, and it was just project management of digital sites. And then I set up my business last year in March 22, and it's a non-alcoholic mobile bar company. So I grow the ingredients for the cocktails in my garden. They're all vegan, it's all natural. And then I make the cocktails. So if you're having a party or a corporate event, I'll come with our bar and our team, and we make the cocktails and we serve them. And I think one of the things that's interesting about the theme of International Women's Month, which is innovation, is that it's twofold, right? So it's been great to run my own company and not be at the behest of a corporate, which has like all these embedded misogyny, misogynoir, like racist structures. So I have the freedom to go out on my own. But then the other side of when you're working for yourself is that actually 0.02% of VC investment goes to Black female founders. So it's a real challenge in the business startup world, finding investment, finding sponsorship. So yeah, it's been interesting, and it's been really eye-opening.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for that. It is very, very true. Getting in terms of investment and sponsorship as a woman is tough. Plus, a Black woman is even tougher. That's the whole thing about it. Right. Thank you. One of the first questions I'm asking is, what institutional and societal changes need to be made for women to be empowered? So within institution and within society, what change do we think is needed for women to be empowered? Because I'm hearing that we are going out and empowering ourselves. So what can institution do, and what can society as a whole do to make us empowered? Who want to take that? Oh my goodness, quiet.
Okay, hi. So, okay, from my own end, I forgot to add that actually I also run a business on the side. I sell shoes and bags and all that for women and men as well. So from my own end, from the question, I believe some laws should be created that to favor women, you know, in all that we do, from the workforce to the business angle, you know, all around. Can laws be done to favor women? Can policies be done to favor women? Not just done, but actually favor them, meaning can they be implemented so that when we're out there doing things, we're doing with our food chest. I don't know if you're used to that state that using something with your food chest, like you're doing it and doing it well, you know, and with a whole lot of support, you know, for us out there. It's sad and it's heartbreaking that it looks like women are I'm not, if I quote me wrong, if there's the wrong is here, women are they're just literally hanging, you know, and it really hurts. And women are a whole lot of embodiments of talent, a whole lot of embodiments of wisdom. We have so much to give. Can something be done about letting us be free and fly as a bird and be able to give fully, you know, in support to whatever that has been put out there to make society great? Can women also be put as a part of it so that, you know, we can give in our best, we can give in our all, and we can see the world change for good, you know, for the whole, not just for some. That's all I have to say for now.
Thank you, Faith. Who else want to take that? Okay, Davina.
I think it's interesting when you say we're out here empowering ourselves, because we are. And I think the women that I know that have gone on to heights and heights have empowered themselves to do that. However, I'm going to say something that might not be very popular here. Not every woman wants that. So even, I think sometimes when we look at the numbers of, when we say like, how many women are around the board at the board tables, how many women are wherever, or in senior roles, some of it is down to, we've realized that's not what we want. So I think women are good at identifying balance in our lives and what we want, and it's okay to have everything. Everything comes at a price. And like for myself, for example, when I was in finance, there's a certain ladder you climb, okay? And then when you're in industry, and like financial directors, like kind of the top of that, or you know, a couple of the roles up there. And I got to that point where I was offered those roles and sat there and thought, I don't want this. Like, it's what you're supposed to want, but it doesn't necessarily mean that's what we want. It's coming at a price where I see a lot of men in those roles who are now redundant, because you get to a certain point in your career and then you have to fight to stay there, okay? And then it becomes dog eat dog. It's a personality thing, and you've got to really be aggressive to stay where you are at the top of your game. That's not what I want out of life. There are other ways for me to find success and to be fulfilled. And so I think sometimes the numbers are not just because the opportunities aren't there, it's because we recognize that the traditional ladders and the traditional roles at the top don't necessarily suit us. So you've got a lot of women who are entrepreneurs and do things our way, because that's what suits us, a life that's designed around what we want, whether that's motherhood. I've got 2 children, around motherhood and the things we like to do outside of work, and having that fulfilling career and still making that money, but we're not necessarily CEO of a multi-global company, because that's not what we want. So I think sometimes the numbers might not really reflect how powerful we are, how successful we are, and what we want. And it's okay to want to be a stay-at-home mum and not run a business, and that's fulfilling and successful. And if I had the economic luxury when my children were younger, that's what I would have done. Right, as it was, I had to go out to work and continue, and that's paid off, but it wasn't what I would have done. So I think what we have that's beautiful is when we put our minds to it and we have a community that's uplifting us, because that's important. a community that's uplifting us and not pulling us down, we can do anything. And I think as Black women as well, we need to appreciate that we are sometimes in a better position than Black men who might want to go out and do things on their own. We have more opportunities open to us. Because of the global women's movement that encompasses women of all colour, we have extra support. And because of the way society looks at us as less threatening than Black men, we have extra support. So I think we need to take into account what people want, how we find success, how we define success before we look at women not having so many opportunities. I think we have the opportunity to do what we want to do if we really want it. And if we come together as a community and don't tear each other down. I think, Bijou, what you were saying, it's been really interesting this last week. I've been on quite a few panels and a few discussions around Women's Week. And I was on a call, I think it was like last Tuesday or something, and there were maybe 3 Black women on the call, lots of white women on the call. And one Black woman was saying something and it was really great. And one of the Black women was in the comments tearing it down. And I was so disheartened. I was like, it wasn't even something that needed to be teared down. It was something very petty around, you could have used this word instead. And like, why would you do that? Like, where's your sisterhood? Where's your code? You know, there's enough room for both of you on this call. You know, you can both shine. There's room for all of us. I think that where, by contrast, I was at a beautiful event on Saturday by a company called Cultureville. They did International Women's Day Festival, and it was probably the best organised, classy event. And it was a day-long event that I've been to in a long time. I was so proud. It was Black women done. It was Black women excellence, right? And everyone was there, was supporting everybody. And all week long, we've been posting each other and supporting each other. And that's how you do it. That's how you do it, because there's enough room for all of us. When we come together, we can do anything. We can do anything.
Magic. Yeah. Thank you for that. It is, you see, that's the whole thing about it. When we come together, magic happens.
Yes.
So much.
You know, and it's a matter of respecting each other. But sad thing about it is the lack of respect shows all the time, and it's quite sad. You know, always competing and always feel that better than. Nobody's better than. We all have things to contribute.
If I can say, the question was a bit hard because I think the mentality and the way the system is done. Can you hear me well?
Yeah.
It's a bit, it's been done like that for us to think it's difficult, for it to think it's for men, for us to think for women. You will not have all the, because although we want to be equal, there is a reality when you are a mom, as you were saying, you had to quit your job. And I heard some stuff sometimes for the policy. I'm like, what? You have to go back to work after how many months? I'm like, so who's raising the child? What is this? Do you think it's easy to carry a child and then deliver and then go back to work like that? So, you know, there's some stuff like, I think it's the mentality like to make it or it's not healthy, and we going through other path. As you say, you want a balance. We don't want to fight all the time with those men. It's competitive enough. So you say, okay, let me find another road. Probably not because only it's easier, because entrepreneurship is not easy, okay? So, but I think it's been done probably in a way, okay, probably I'm being really small-headed here, but not being probably a fighter like some others could be. But I think it's been done in a way that already we know is not for you. You know, like it's gonna be tough, it's gonna be for men, it's gonna be so. If you say what they needed to be changed, first of all, sometimes the work environment is not healthy. You know, that's why I wanted to say that, sorry, but at the moment I'm in this position to say, okay, things are being done now in Europe, in the UK with diversity and inclusion. We had to have a world crisis, health crisis worldwide, 2 years and more for us to understand well-being at work. It was starting, but you understand, because it's not healthy. It was not healthy. Okay, you have depression because of work. Hello, who's gonna pay my bill? What do I have to do? Hello, this is what I mean. I was like, so for me it's this. So that's my thinking to say, if you ask me, make this place a bit more healthy, because people have talents, women and everybody. Okay, so we have talent as women. If we make this place that for us to be able to broaden that out, we will. Okay. Now we're starting, when I see the changing we're doing in my workplace, we're starting to say, okay, let's, see who has the talent. Because before it's like, go to the interview, you fail, that's it, But what are they good at? Can we recognize talents to push this person? Because if you don't push yourself, that's the end. But sometimes you don't know. So society should bring out, okay, that there is different way of being talented, if you ask me, okay? There is different intelligence, because already, so if you ask me, I give you two stuff, making this workplace and stuff a bit more healthy. So it has starting with the well-being, and then recognizing is coming as well the talents of people and the different intelligence, because the education is done in the way that here, either you're a failure for this, so where else are we gonna go to kind of, you see what I mean? So entrepreneurship sometimes it's the way, because you see, some people can make money and be successful without going to big education. So probably that's the word, because in the other way is this, I don't know what you will say, but that's what coming into my mind, if you want to say as a society, what we can do, because if we block the talent of people, that's how we can't have people who shine in those places. You see what I mean? Because this is where more people ask to do effort. And I think they're starting to recognize that, we're lacking of people now in some jobs, because we didn't make people see how they shine. So maybe we have to change something. Do you see where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
Tell me what you...
Thank you. It is very true.
So,
okay. Who wants to continue on that?
I have so much that came to my mind since I'm hearing but before speaking, I would love to hear Miss XIT point of view on what just been said, because what I'm about to say, I think, could literally be so far from what we think society or institutions should be doing. So before I crushed
yeah.
What do you I don't hear what you gotta say now. Jeez.
But ladies, were you relating to what I was saying, or it was just not at all?
Absolutely.
Just to know, because I'm trying to see. Sometimes I'm like, is it only me or what? Like, because we need to go. I was like, I didn't know. Probably we said, I don't know. I'm like, I didn't know I have to do all this, and I can go there to go there. It is done in a way like stay there, like, but I was a talent. How can I shine? So
no, exactly.
Yeah,
Frederique, this is exactly what I talk about is to people, it's transferable skills, like it's identifying what you're good at. Because when I talk about getting people into tech, there are many roles within tech. Like for me, like a consultancy, we need people who understand finance, understand law, understand whatever, or people who are good organizers. And some people actually, their brains working in more mathematical ways than they might do into code. Everyone's brain and everyone's skills are different and transferable. And until someone tells you there's another way or there's other opportunities, you're not going to know. So it's so important to let people understand that there are other things you can do. Find out what you're good at and find something that fits, that you can be passionate about. And so you're absolutely right. And as far as the workplace is concerned, there has to be a lot more education around wellness, around inclusion, and around employers. Because employers need to realise that if they're not making their employees happy, they're going to have turnover. They're going to lose good employees. They're going to lose skilled employees. It's better to have a part-time mother who's a very skilled employee than a full-time person who's not passionate, can't really do the job great. They need to understand that it's not all about just numbers. It's about people and skills and passion.
It is very true. And as you said earlier on, it's only now that, thanks to COVID, that we're paying attention to well-being, right? And it's on everybody's agenda. It's like I went to a school and I was actually saying to the assistant principal, what have you got in place for the well-being of the students and the teachers? Oh, well, we've got something, we're working on something. No, I don't want to hear you working on something. You should have something in place already, because COVID have actually taught us that, hold on, Now that is gone, how are we going to support the mental health of this workplace? Because we need to, because they are very skilled and very useful for society. So how are we going to support them? It's very true. Yeah.
Tell us what you have to say, Bijou Tid.
Now, the thing is, I have such a radical view, maybe because of what I've experienced and the kind of world I mingle around in. It is, personally, I don't believe the institution, just like England has put in place the equal opportunity, where we don't have that in France. I can see when a government or an institution puts something in place, what's the goods and what's the bad. If you take just England versus France, you would be probably higher in France if you know someone rather than if you have the qualification. Especially in the French Riviera, where I'm going to be next week, and it's all the same thing. We're looking for a plumber, and the guy can't really do the job or doesn't want to do it, but because he knows someone in the building, that's how it works. Whereas in England, it always strikes me as if you have talent, you can have more chance of at least going through the first door or doing something crazy like me standing in front of the Carlton TV or ITV and waiting for everybody to come out and ask for a job. You do something like that in France, they probably call the police. But interestingly, I wouldn't wait anything from the institution as when it comes to women. I think something, when I became a big person, something dropped from my womanness, and that was sexuality. That was a projection of sexuality on who I was. And I've always been a man's woman. That means I mingle around with men more than women, right from school. Because of my background, because of the traumas, the difficulties. So I was drawn to those people who went from A to Z quickly and not from B, C, politics, etiquettes, gossip, etc., etc. So it looks to me that something, and that's for the part where I'm talking about women in general. Mingle around with men meant that while I was in the Caribbean 6 weeks ago, I mingle around with powerful men, multimillionaires. And then I'm realizing something we don't have a lot in the women's community as a whole, and especially when you were not born into money, into power. Because the moment you pass the threshold of power and money, women and men have it. It's about discipline, it's about knowledge, it's about action. These people don't get where they are because they sit on their butt from young age. My friend right now, where he's already into the million, his son is 15 and he already is ready to take over his father. He knows everything, the password, every single thing. And I think it's rooted in cultural that when, like before in the old days, you've got boys and girls, especially in the Afro-Caribbean, Arabic, sort of sub-Mediterranean, exotic sort of world, you wouldn't send the girls too much to school. You would focus on the boys. That means you would focus on the boys for society and the girl from home. And I think what happened, and coming back to what you were saying, sorry, I forgot your name, IT number one. Sorry.
Yes.
About inside the jobs.
Yes,
it's true that we all inherited from 70s, 80s, 60s. I mean, the whole format that was not, it wasn't so much based on human. It was based purely on industrialism, achievement. We were numbers. And I think these things about mental health, even in a royal family, you could see people are talking about mental health, being disappointed, being unhappy. This well-being came at its pinnacle during COVID, but in many, many industry, it's been growing. It's been grooming for many years that people were unhappy. When we pass a certain comfort, a certain level of being comfortable in our society, we can talk about literally well-being. But when you go back to Brazil, and I'm eating in a restaurant in Brazil, and an 8-year-old kid who happened to be white comes and eats from our plates, then he's not thinking of well-being, he's thinking of feeding. So we have a part of the world that suddenly has reached such a level of power and sort of at ease that we can think of well-being. but the rest of the world only thinks of eating and having it on their plate. So forget about well-being. But I think what's happening is because all of us are so entangled, we can't ignore each other anymore. That means even the person who used to be in the office, not thinking of his employee, just want numbers, numbers, numbers. We're all waking up because internet happened to have created that over the last 20 years. We're all aware of what's going on, and it's too heavy to carry. So when I am with these people, and especially me who are in an industry who is women-based, fashion is women-based, they are the one pulling the string. We do have men. Bizarrely, most of designers are men, but it's women who are working. You take in the top one, Lagerfeld, Lanvin, etc., Jean-Paul Gaultier, etc. They're men, but in the workforce, they're women. Most of the agents are women. The models, girls, earn more than the models, boys. Big time. There's such a big difference in the salary of a boy and a girl. But at the same time, the model agency are usually owned by women who are associated with men. You see, there are still a couple of things. The photographers are men, mostly. It's now that we're seeing some sort of a photographer are women. You see, if you see, even at the Cannes Film Festival, most of the people in black on the photography, they're men. So there's still a little bit of a difficulty to cross, the route. But I think it's down to who we are intrinsically. Like, I couldn't do the job I do if I had 3 kids. That's for sure. It means that something would have got to give because we're on 27, like jumping on the flight, going here, etc., etc. Some people are doing it, but they're doing it thanks to the environment they were either born in or they landed in. Like a friend of mine just landed in a very rich household. She's having kids after kids as a kid, but just like you say, it would have been lovely when your kids were young. I forgot her name. When her kids were young, to stay at home and be with her kids instead of jetting off quickly 3 months, 4 months after. But my friend having the luxury of doing that, but then they give something else. So I think the words that came in mind when you ask your question, it depends on which culture women are we talking about. What level of society they mingle around with, whether they're white or black. I'm seeing black girl married to a very rich man who happens to be black and white or Asian. Their lifestyle won't be the same as someone who's at kind of the bottom of the society. Definitely not. But it doesn't mean that their life is easier. It means that what is asked from them is either to be a trophy, either to be an organizer, or either to be a business partner. They are the one pulling the string behind the man because it's so heavy to follow those guys. And as you were saying as well, of course it's great, when she's having 3 kids in 2 years and a half, actually 4 years, she's on kid number 3. They have nannies, they have cooks, they have etc., etc. But it's such an organization that not every woman can actually be in that environment, because I watch them and I'm thinking some days to be neat from head to toe, day in, day out, it's a job. It's a job to go to cocktail parties. It's a job to go to galas. I've been buying like crazy for the past year because normally I don't dress that much. I dress in black and period. But because I'm stepping in front of the camera now after 25 years, I have to dress. I have to get my hair done, my nails done. And I'm like, oh, I just want to put something on top and get out. You have to change shoes. You have to make silhouette.
No.
You can't. And you have to be fit. Now it's like, hello, I've been big for the past sort of 30 years. I can't just put 50 kilos like that. It's such a job. But I think what's difficult, because I've got some young girl asking me, oh, I'm looking for a rich husband now. Can you show me how? I'm like, wait a second. Do you want this lifestyle? Do you know? So he gave me 2 words, knowledge and choice. I think they are the one who kills people, because I have right now a girl I'm about to coach. She wants to marry a rich guy because she sees I mingle around with celebrities and stuff. I'm thinking, do you have the guts? Do you have we call the bells in France, like, do you have the kidneys, we say in France, est-ce que vous avez les reins to carry this kind of lifestyle? because mentally they're disciplined. Even in the private jet, they're doing the hair before the gala. It's non-stop. The social life is non-stop. So I think what the young people don't know, it's what's out there behind the mirror. And that's when they come to me, say, I want to be a model. Say, why? I want to marry a rich man. I'm like, not every model is a Victoria's Secret model. The first they do, I've sent an Ugandan model here in London to a one-day casting. She did 17 casting. And she has her book, the bag, 17 casting. And at the end, nobody took her. Okay, I have to admit, they didn't have many space for black girl, although she's 5'10", she's size literally 6. But after 17 casting one day, she's like, I can't do this. Like, this is crazy. Like 17 people will go through your book who say, no, thank you, no, thank you. So the only thing I see is the choice is not available to people to know, to inquire, to learn how it works, and then to make their own decision. So if I was to do something as a society and then something as an institution, first, let's take society. I'll make sure we break down the barriers of knowledge, because that we don't need degree for. I've got 3 master's degrees and I'm in fashion. Most of my friends are earning thousands and thousands, big job. I decided to follow fashion. So they're like, why? You pay for 3 master's degrees, why? Okay, because it was a choice. The master degree didn't give me the entry to fashion, modeling did, but the master degree gave me a scope of knowledge, a scope of contacts all over the world, which meant that I could call Brazil, I could call Shanghai, I could call New York, I could call California, and someone will answer. And that's what university does, usually in England. It gives you such a scope of contacts, your fellow students who end up running all around the world. But then I would say us as a society, especially as Black women, who are now becoming the leading visual of the world because of all that has happened. It was about the Black men, okay, they're criminals, there's this and that, and we were the bottom of the food chain. Suddenly, we take our voice. What do we tell the other girls? We know how it is on the ground. Let's show them how it is on the sky. But then let's give at least our generation to come exactly what it is, the reality, the truth. It's like us from Africa, where our fellow citizen came here in Europe and went to lie back to Africa. It's the same. And now all the Africans, like, I want the same, but they were liars. I earned so much money. Money's on tree, you know, and then in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, they will send us a list of shopping. It doesn't work like that. What they don't tell people is we wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, it's raining, we get out there, it's cold, you know? Now, in terms of institution, I would not do any positive discrimination, no way. Because positive discrimination towards women will only make women's role smaller. I think it's women who needs to wake up and branch into something called networking. Networking is something beautiful. It's working towards the net worth. That's what it is. And it's about what we like. Why does it work in fashion? Because we all love to dress. We normally love to buy handbags and show up in parties. Well, but behind those, they're working. They're working even better. They're doing what we're doing tonight, because tomorrow we see each other in the street, we will say hi. There's a breaking of the ice compared to another CV that comes on. So I would not dare ask in any institution to favor women. And the last thing I would say is, because I've been working with men, and it's non-sexual way, because for them, I'm not their ideal woman to marry or to even go out with. I'm not a size 8, I'm not a fashion model anymore, and I'm not white, predominantly. So, but I've turned something that looks like a handicap into a positive. Because at that party where I meet millionaires and billionaires, who are they talking to? Me. And that was very interesting. Because suddenly I'm looking around, the other girls are chasing husbands and boyfriends. I'm chasing human beings. So I started talking. And there, suddenly, those men, they open up. Because they're also suffering. They no longer know how to take us. you know, especially the higher they come in the game, they know people who comes towards them are either coming for sex or money. But when some woman comes with knowledge, with interest, with goodwill, and towards well-being, they open up the world. And I think that's why I learned, if I had to do something as an institution, maybe I'll make sure young women no longer identify themselves as on the shelf. Like, who's going to be the best to be picked up on the shelf? It's about, what do you have inside? What can you give to society on the table? That will first of all stop those silly things the young girls are doing in high school. They are the one ransacking, they are the one bullying, you know, just like you say in an event, someone, instead of saying, hi, I think it was Courchevel, you went to Courchevel? I forgot her name each time. The lady went to Courchevel to an event. Was it you?
Oh, to me?
Yeah, you went to Courchevel, I think.
No, I was saying I went to a few events. Yeah.
To a few events.
Yeah, Courchevel. Yeah, sorry, yes.
Exactly.
Almost like hello.
Sorry, it was the accent.
Pronounce it in a French way, and you
it was correct.
A Black woman criticized on a petty thing. That's what women do. That's what young girls do. Who's going to criticize on your hair? It's a young girl. Who's going to criticize on a shoe? It's a young girl. A man hasn't got time for that.
No.
Simple. A man will go straight. If he's interested in you sexually, it's because you present yourself somehow. Okay, he's going to try. But if you give him entity, you know, force, energy, he's dropping the whole sexual game and he's becoming a man. And I think we have that role now to open up the roots to those young girls to become the women of tomorrow. That somehow it's possible if we all drop that silly barriers, you see, because the men are suffering too, big time. They don't know where to stand anymore.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that whole thing about men and women, I think, like I was saying before, sometimes we have an advantage. We have a feminine advantage. If you know how to harness that feminine power, you can, you know, men are simple in many ways. In many ways, they're very complicated and they know their egos are usually, you know, easily bruised, but they're also easily soothed. And so if you know how to maneuver yourself around them, you know, you can get what you want. You can get what you need, and it can be a win-win situation, you know?
Without any vice, because what I find young girls do in those parties, they throw themselves at men sexually, but it's using your femininity energy doesn't mean you throw yourself sexually.
No,
No.
Exactly.
Not at
what
all.
I think,
and men love the chase.
Yeah,
so
but
why would you throw yourself at them? Sorry.
No, it's very good what you said. But what I'm saying, just to add to what you are saying, is the image then of the woman that society needs to change. And it's the narrative as well, to say, for us to have a good life, you see, like, what do you want to do? Marry a rich man. So where does that come from? We didn't make it up. They sold that to us. What do you want to do? Because the men are working, you need to have a rich man to have a good life. So this is the narrative you need to change. Society can change that to us, because they sold us all the Prince Charming stories.
Walt Disney.
Walt Disney. Okay, now they're starting to, you know, the Walt Disney stories and all the romances, like, because we didn't make it up. They sold that to us. Oh, what do you want to do? The Prince Charming will come, and then we change your life, and you will have a rich man in your life, and things like that. And then the image of the woman, because you're in fashion, you know, you see, like, okay, because fashion, it's women who are selling this business. That's why they are in front. But what is the image? Now, if I start like this, so start with the image of the woman in society. Why do we have to be naked all the time to be able to sell, for example? I'm not saying we cannot assume this, but you see, hypersensuality, sexuality is coming. I'm not judging anyone who wants to wear that, but who is doing those code of the fashion? Is it a woman behind that? I don't know. This is what I mean.
Because we get aggressed every day, especially me. The reason why I'm showing my face today, people are saying, first of all, why the girls are so skinny? Why this? Why that?
Voilà.
We have answers for that.
Okay.
The first answer I tell people, first of all, if you look at the design pattern, everybody needs to do a collection every 6 months in between 45 and 90, 100 pieces. So it's an economical game. If you do a sample with a size 20 and you do 90 pieces, it will cost you way more, especially when it comes to couture. But it's also because couture is craftsmanship. So if you put craftsmanship, which is you take like a ribbon and you make it a dress around someone, it will look easier on a slender body. Because if you put it on a bigger body or a body who's got shape, you would obviously need way more craftsmanship to fit on every single person. But it's a show. And it's also because of the perspective, because they're on a stage. So nowadays you've got many shows where they're on the floor, everybody's sitting at the same level, but before it was on the stage. So the taller you are if you're on the stage, the taller you will look. If you're short and you're on the stage and someone is sitting at the bottom of the stage, you will look small. So the thing is, we've inherited the code of the 50s, 60s, and 70s. But it's nothing tells us that we don't need to change it. And it's been changing. You've seen a lot of plus size models.
Thank you.
That went through the whole thing. But I always ask women, if you take Vogue, and now in the Vogue, everybody looks like you, and women, I tell them blunt in their face, would you still finding unachievable and a dream? Most of women wouldn't buy it. Unfortunately, that's the secret of womanhood, is because we look something at almost unachievable that will pull us to the top, as opposed to something that will pull us to our level or down. Most women, if you sell a Vogue magazine and it looks like their next door neighbor, not really dressed or big, they will not buy that magazine.
That's true.
I get that, and I appreciate that, and I get that. But the thing is, still, is the image they threw at us there. Because you see, now we're seen as Black women in the fashion, but before we have a very, very dark skin model, it was really, really rare. And the code of beauty as well, they put in the code out there of beauty. I appreciate for the material. Okay, that's fashion. In the movie, why? You know very well in France. In France, French movies, for nothing, you had a naked woman in the movie. Why that? Why?
You had a lot of in France. That's where you had most of the naked women.
Really? Yeah, no. So you see what I mean? A yogurt commercial, woman naked. Why? Are we only good for this? Can someone be sitting and eating this yogurt? No.
It's cultural. It's cultural. The Anglo-Saxon world have a certain stigma around nudity. Like you could show someone's bottom, but you can't show someone's nipple. In France, it's the reverse. It's the reverse. You see nipples everywhere, but you don't see someone's bottom. As you see in the publicity, when she's even au bao, the soap, they start with the nipple, but when they hide the bottom, where in England is the reverse. You don't show the nipple. So culturally, many European countries deals with nudity differently. German people, Nordic people, they half naked all the time. Literally amongst guests. I went to a house in Germany and the guy has a spa at the bottom, and all the guests, we go downstairs and I'm literally naked. I'm literally with my swimsuit and all the guests are naked and I'm like, excuse me? Like, I just can't do it. Because it's a cultural European, but us who comes from immigration, we found that crazy. We like, me?
No, but
But it's a cultural thing that
I see, but for me it's the role and the code and all that for the woman. You're saying what the society needs to show us. Why always us?
Because you go to Brazil, and in Brazil you've got the hot mama, the grandmother, who is literally have this piece hiding her pubic hair on the Copacabana beach, and she's got boobs like this that are half done, and she's only hiding the nipples. I think depending on where you are in the world, even Brazil compared to Argentina, you wouldn't see the Argentinian girls half naked, but the Brazilian are pretty much out there the whole day. So I think us in Africa, we would literally hide at the beach. You wouldn't see someone in a bikini. The new generation, yes. But I would say we can compose with women's role all over the world, but as long as there's choice. Because today, culturally, we are mixed culture. I'm from Africa, I'm a bit of England, I've got a bit of German code, a bit of French code. So it's really about us to say what's really matter to each and every one of us. And as long as there's a possibility to say, I choose this, I choose that, I choose to marry. Now the rich man situation comes from the old time, and even us from the Caribbean. We were in the 60s, 70s, 80s, where literally women didn't have massive role. Even if you go back to the history, you better marry into a family that can carry you, that can care for you while you're having the children. You know, it's only in the 1960s that women get to do few things in France.
Yeah.
You know, the law of wearing the trousers was
No.
changed in 2013. Did you know that? Even though women were wearing trousers, actually was still illegal.
That's interesting. In the school I went to, I don't know if it was a Catholic school, but the teachers were not allowed to wear trousers. They had the female teachers, unless there was a medical reason, had to wear skirts. All of us as in sixth form and whatever, we had to wear skirts.
Yes.
One of this trousers thing. Yeah.
So 2013, the law was changed here, and you think in 2013 was just like what, 10 years ago?
Yeah.
This is some sort of a joke. So I think somehow
Exactly. Yeah.
it's easy enough to say that in the last 40 years, maybe because I'm not that young. I mean, I was born in the 60s. So when I'm looking at between when we're young until when we're teenagers, everything starts going very fast. And we can't expect people who are in the 50s and 60s, we can see because when we're kids, we have barely nothing. And suddenly it's flying in all directions from the people who are 30, 40. So I think it's going to take a time where we slow down the progress, or at least we get time to digest it. Because we were still from Cinderella, but Cinderella's story, you know, the poor girl that gets saved by a guy on his white horse, it's still in the myth in our society that the man's going to save the woman.
Yeah.
Whereas actually, I don't think it's true.
Yeah.
The women are saving the men, and some men are saving the women. But we're going to have
Do you
to
think that is true?
It's true. I mean,
Do you
before, sorry, you don't move anymore, Debbie, I think.
Debbie, yeah, I think it's frozen, Debbie. You are frozen because I didn't know if it was coming from her. Debbie?
Am I frozen?
Yeah,
Can
yes.
you hear me?
Because we are like, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Now we can hear you, but you're frozen.
But you are frozen.
Can you hear me?
Really badly.
You've got an interface.
Yes.
Like
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
It's not so clear.
It's not really
clear. My goodness. Oh my
goodness. Do you have like maybe you need to close your application
and come back?
Because if you have many applications running,
can you hear me?
Yes, that's
now.
Better.
Yeah, better.
That's better. But we can't see you moving.
Your image is still frozen.
Okay, maybe we should just continue while.
Yeah, while you try, I don't know.
Okay, I think
I think Bijou, like you were saying about
it's really poorly, Debbie.
Yeah, you've got this kind of digital frozen sound.
Like
no.
Can you see?
We can't see you, but we can hear you.
Can you see me?
I will send the screenshot in there because
the sound is very
Davina, you were saying.
Yeah, I was just saying. I was following on from what you were saying about these young girls who want to marry rich.
Very clearly.
Now
you're back now.
Okay, good.
Oh, she's
now
back.
Yes.
Back.
Hello, baby. Can you wave? You were in a conversation. Did you hear that?
Yes, I was hearing you guys clearly.
If you don't stop us, we hear. So
yeah, I could hear you.
Yeah, but I was about to say.
Yeah, I can say about these young girls who, or even older women, any women who want to marry rich. I think you hit the nail on the head before. There's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it.
Absolutely.
I myself, my partner is, can take care of me, and I kind of like, I like that freedom that will have that happens if I want it to. However, I think what you said that's so on point is they need to be aware that that's not all it's cracked up to be. You need to know how to be an executive wife, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you want to have your spouse be the breadwinner, you need to know what comes with that. That comes with being their peace at home.
Mm-hmm.
So picking your battles, knowing how to make a peaceful, loving home, knowing that the time is not always going to be on you and attention is not always going to be on you, knowing how to support that and be willing to with a full heart, because if you resent it, it's going to be an unhappy marriage, right? So you need to understand it's not going to be all jewels and whisked away and weekends and whatever. It's going to be supporting that partner who is supporting you financially. And so it's about that awareness of what comes with that. And I think there's a big movement at the moment around is it called hypergamy? Basically the art of marrying up or marrying rich.
Okay.
And there are lots and lots of coaches teaching young girls how to be feminine, how to attract a rich man, how to go to the right places and to meet these suave men. And it breaks my heart, because I'm like, you're setting them up to fail. You're teaching them how not to be themselves, how to be a version of themselves that will please someone, and they're going to end up being so unhappy, right? So unhappy. You have to want the full package to want the icing on the cake, right? You have to be willing to do the full package. You have to be able to enjoy it. If you have a loving, giving spirit, then it's going to be easier to be an executive wife than someone who is in it for the money and attention, because that's not that's not what it is.
You got a point, because it's a question: do they want to be an executive wife, an executive girlfriend, an executive mistress, or just an executive play doll? Because I think we're not speaking the truth to the girls, especially in the Afro-Caribbean world, and even those friends of mine, India, Asia, South America, they're a bit more aware of sex, aware of their body, aware of those things. But it is what I call a new revolution. Is really tell the girl that we are not Walt Disney's associates. Walt Disney made it clear out. When in the 60s, we had Candy, we had Cinderella, we had Snow White, and blah, blah, blah. And we knew at some point for us, especially Black kids, that it was kind of off-rich. We didn't look like Snow White or Cinderella. But at the same time, it'd be fantastic if a guy came on his white horse and my problem would be finished in one day. Okay, it lasted a week, maybe. And then Cinderella is back in the kitchen. But at the same time, what I mean is, it's not the wrong, like you say, of wanting to marry up. Actually, it's a good thing that someone who's going to Aldi every day, and I don't mean Aldi is for the poor, but let's say your shopping trolley queuing. At the same time, it's about that choice situation. Where is it? Where is it available? Because I see people go to high-profile party, and you see those girls. What they're doing worries me, because I almost been one of those girls one day. And I've been always honest about that. I was struggling so much in London. I find myself in front of the Arabs just staring, thinking it'll be easy. But the Arabs were mesmerized, because I don't think anything about me looks like a dull attitude. So they were like, what does she want?
Not like that. But I think it's what you're saying, Bijou and Davina, is like, okay. And to go back to your question, Debbie, is like, society needs to make people bring the awareness, okay, of what is available. Marrying a rich man who just came on this subject is not wrong or what, but it's what is it and goes with it. So to know what is available for us, and then, okay, bringing the awareness of what it is, and really you can make your choice. And this where we will have the choice to make, to see, okay, do I want to marry a rich man? Do I want to be a CEO? And make the space for us, because it's like kind of, okay, we see women in some management role and high, but we still, because what strikes me, I'm still shocked and surprised. I mean, when I see completely, I'm transiting now, is like when I see a Uber cab driver, a female. You know, like, I don't know. So just to tell you, I was like, yeah, it's a woman. A woman who's driving the train. So you see, it's like, damn it. So this is those things that society can do to open the path, say like, okay, there is the choice. This is what comes with it, making the path for women to go there as well, and we can choose. And then we choose our what we want to do. Because as you said, not everybody, Davina, I get you, and not everybody has to be an entrepreneur. Because I think we're selling the dreams. We don't selling the right story here. Okay, that's why as well. I'm not saying everybody needs to be an entrepreneur, because now as well I have some issues with my female friends. Sometimes say, oh yeah, I didn't find the business I want to do yet, but who's telling you to do? Okay, I didn't want before. I just happened to be, because it's one of my passion to dance, and I find my work balance with it. And me, I'm happy with a 9 to 5 and doing a passion and making a community out of it and creating my brand. Not everybody has to do that, but you need to know. Okay, so I completely agree with the awareness. Being entrepreneur is not for everybody. It's not easy. You don't, I was like everybody, those people. Yeah, I just quit my job 9 to 5 and I make $1 million overnight. Who? When? How?
Exactly.
No. And when you look at their background, yeah, but I have this technical, knowledge that I have. Their background is completely different to what I have. Me, I'm telling you, myself, I cannot. I cannot, and I will not. Quit my 9 to 5 to live from my Zumba brand. Not that it's not possible. It is, but this is not what I want now, and I cannot do it even if I want from now. I am completely, how I can say that, honest with the fact that I cannot. And thanks God I didn't hear and listen to people who were saying, but you could live out of this. Look out all the money you did. I said, I have, when I go and want to buy my flat, I have to provide those resources that I make. Do I have enough resources? And me, I'm really counting of the things. How do you make your business profitable? It's not to have how many such of followers. If it's not bringing you money, there's nothing. Do you know how to make consistent profit all the time? So stop selling the wrong things to the people. You do not leave your job, or you do not go on the entrepreneurship world just like that, because you see such and such influencers saying you can. No. Okay, so that's something as well, awareness, and us sharing our story to say that, no, I'm still working on how I can be profitable all the time. I'm struggling with this, so.
Something is interesting in what you're saying, which strikes a chord that in a paragraph that I wrote recently on Instagram. It was about women saying when she was young, she projected herself, when we're like 19, 20, 21, and we see it coming because we were sold in a right or in a wrong way that between sort of 20 and 39 is sort of acceptable, which is the brackets to have kids. If you are 15 and say I'm ready,
what I like.
That's a bit early. If you say I'm 44, I'm finally ready, someone may say, that's a bit late. So there's this bracket, which is actually ideally 21, 39. It feels like, okay, now you're safe, And I counterwrite something on that comment, saying that I remember when I was younger, being fearful of making a step and not being able to come backward. And the person was like, people were liking it. And I said, yes, because I do clearly remember way before I fell sick, because I felt really sick between 17 and 29. But at 29, I collapsed. That was different with a near-death experience and everything. So my outlook on life changed because I was alive. And every year that I was alive was like, let me hold on to it. But before that, I had a time where I wondered, there's so much I want to do. But how do I feed the kids? Where do I feed the kids? I was so scared to be even fall pregnant at any point, because all those things is what I would love society, because we say society and institution. I would love the society to do it via communication, via contests, grants where women are also encouraged to spell it out what they want to do, even from 15, 16. But I would love the institution though to probably change something, few little things. While I was asking myself all those questions, what am I going to do? I want to travel, I want to see this, but I'm from the 60s, 70s, where you didn't travel like you wanted. You didn't take off and say, let's go, but I did it. Like around 79, well, I traveled the first time 81. And I remember my mom was like, you're not even over 18 years, and I want to travel. But in those days, when you travel, you disappear. Your parents didn't know where you were. You sent a postcard.
Exactly.
So they were scared, especially a woman traveling. And I did it. We went to Greece to dance, and I was a dancer. But then I realized I waited. Then I waited to do this. Then I waited to do that. And finally, the illness hit me. And finally, I couldn't have the kids. I'm like, okay, did I miss something? The only thing the institution would make it better is to have an infrastructure within the city where young women who are slightly isolated, whether they're geographically isolated, if you're in central London, it's okay, you grab a bus, you go anywhere. But if you are, I'm in Baker Street, so imagine someone who's in Ilford wanted to spend that night, they want to go to a conference, they want to go to a theater, they want to do something. As a woman on your own, you either have to do it with your friends. If you can't do it with your friends, you're on your own. So I would literally have some sort of a bus system that is women based, because indeed they want the girl to be pretty to work their rank. So a girl going from Ilford to Chelsea, and I've lived on the King's Road as well. If you had to do that at night, and it happens to be in Paris, you dress to kill. And then you have to take the last bus, the last train, whatever, at midnight. And then after you arrive in Ilford, you have to take another bus or walk literally 2 miles on your own with your high heels in the middle of nowhere. It's not going to happen. However, if there were like a system by the institution that's going through the major train station or by early booking, that making sure girls who are on their own as well, they could literally be back. It's a matter of money because we have Uber now, right? So if they leave the girl for 30, they go back home. It happens with models. We had a super party in Mayfair. And then I asked the client, I said, after the show, I want £50 for every single model so they could take a taxi. Uber didn't exist at the time. It was early 20,000, like 2003 or 4. And they were like, really? I said, I want £50 for every single model to go home from the party because they're going to be in a party mood, going to be dressed. And then some of them are going to Peckham, some to Brixton, some to West Hampstead. But guess what? We gave the money to most of the girls.
What did they do?
Some of them kept the money and still went by bus. So the thing is,
but yeah, but that's the thing because and at least Bijou in here we can do that. In France, no way. Now it has changed a bit. No way you go to whatever Gare du Nord and then you go back to where in the party mode. You see what I mean? Some line you can't do that in the suburb. You know, I say you can't do that. It's like you do because you know the hood. You need to know a bit of the hood, you know.
Yeah. I come from Les Ulis, which is zone 5. She knows where I come from. It's called the ghetto. Thank you. Go for it. I would go one day. We went to a party during the fashion week, and I was not an agent yet. I was still a model. And the guy said, "Can I drop you?" And I said, "Yes." He said, "Where do you live?" I said, on the southwest." And he took his car and he started driving me, and there were some lights. And after that, after Biev, there's no light anymore in the street. The guy went like, "Where are you taking me?" When he dropped me, I never heard about those clients ever again because they took me to the ghetto, literally. And I should have asked him to stop me away from my building. I went in the parking where they break cars and everything. So I have been that girl. I have been that girl on the high heels. You change your shoes on the platform. You put a hoodie or something to hide your body. And then, but me, because I was always quite loud, loud in the sense that my presence is loud. So that means even if you meet me in the middle of the night, I will start asking you questions, I'll start talking to you, etc. I didn't have that little girl, fragile sort of thing. But then I'm thinking, you're on your own at 2, 3 a.m. coming from those hyper party in Paris. So I have been that girl. But what if you are someone less confident, less,
Exactly.
affirmed?
Yeah.
You could be at risk. And that's why some girl will never try. By the time you finish cleaning the dishes and your parents allow you to leave at 10 p.m., you have to be back at midnight. It takes 2 hours to go to Paris from those suburbs. Taking the bus, walking the street. I have been that girl. Luckily for me, I ended up going out with a millionaire. And my life changed. Like I traveled the world and I saw someone enter an environment that wasn't mine by birth. And then I thought, so that's it. So you enter those environments and then you've got access to things. You know, me having champagne in the jacuzzi of his house,
Yeah, exactly. Like,
house. You know, you've got 6 Porsche in the garage, 1 Ferrari, 1 Rolls Royce, and you're like, okay, so that's how it's done. So it meant that some people will never have that choice.
yeah.
I had to pick up my suitcase, go by autostop to Germany before I met that guy. Like it took girls like me who had a rucksack sleeping on the street of Berlin. I'm from that generation where our parents didn't know what we were doing. We were in those trains before the walls came down with the Gestapo literally asking you who you are, Papierenbiete, you know? I'm from that generation. So that's where I thought, no, now when you come out of what was given to you or what was imposed to you, then you discover the world.
Yeah.
How
But
bad we do that in our city, like the pink taxi, you know, the girl who set up the pink taxi. But the pink taxi, there's still some girl who can't spend 40 pounds on a taxi.
So there's a big taxi. What is this one?
It was a lady who at the time realized that many girls were getting harassed and raped in taxi. So she created something called a pink taxi.
And it's not anymore?
I don't know if it still exists because Uber maybe took over. But it
was
girls
but it's
only.
good.
Girls
but it's good. But again, Uber, you need to pay. But as you said, and it's something, I don't know what the feminists will have to say about that, to say, oh, whoa, we can do like the men. No, but we know from a fact that we have this issue. So why not the society put something in place for us? Because the women, you are more restricted to do stuff, to live your life as you want to. You are. Because you have to think about what you're going to wear. Or things that you have to get checked before you go back home.
Like someone just recently wrote on a post because the girl is wearing a short skirt, and I thought it has nothing to do with short skirt. What are you talking about? But the person's got a point. You know, in the suburbs, the young girls, they have to, when they go back home, they dress like vegans, like big hoodies, just to make themselves disappear. Because if they turn up in the city, what we call La Cité, which is in the ghetto, with miniskirt, high heels, dressed like they're going to Mayfair, it's not going to happen. You see, they will be harassed. So somewhere when they say the miniskirt attract the crime, I'm saying, okay, I hope the only thing is don't tell the girl not to wear it. Educate the boys. But there is
Exactly.
the institution could do. Just like Japanese, they have a coach in the train for women and for men. Because when they come rush hour, women tend to be touched as well, a lot in Paris. But so institution could do few things about that, I think. Fairs, exhibition, things that push the young women to get out in a safe way. But I think today we're talking about women. I think we're actually talking about girls.
Now it's girl wear, women as well.
It is important. It is important because we need to empower them. We need to empower the girls, how they carry themselves and how they see that, because the young girls would be of tomorrow's women. So how do we prepare them and empower them for tomorrow's women?
Because I'm going to be celebrating International Week. Sorry about that. International Week. I'll be celebrating International Girls' Day.
Interesting.
We have this whole, what I call the Kardashian culture. And, we have it's the filters, it's the 10 layers of makeup, it's the wigs, it's the lack of self-confidence in their own natural beauty. It's this fakeness that's now, and we talked before about how girls going, in fact, before it was, if you were going out, you would be dressed up, you would be this. Now it's every day, everywhere. Someone could be going to the supermarket and it's full on, you know, contour. I don't know how to do it, but all of that.
But thank you.
And also with the internet culture, we see millionaire 18-year-olds, or whether that's real or not, I don't know. But we have a whole generation of children who are lost. Whether it was right or wrong, we knew you go to university, you get a job, you do whatever. In general, just very generalized. You know, that's kind of what's expected, and at least there's a path to do that. What we see now is 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds, and they look out and they see 16 to 25-year-olds running businesses, bloggers, or YouTubers, TikTokers, and they sit there and go, they don't see anyone their age having a job.
Yeah.
No one talks about going to work or having a career or anything, and it's like, and then they think, well, what do I do? What am I supposed to do? What do I want to do? And they have a crisis.
You
have
just
teenagers with
put a
crisis.
finger on something so huge, because I think if anybody knew someone who could do a TV show in the old days, we had Oprah, then we had the UK one. I forgot her name. She's in New York now. That lady, that Black Afro-Caribbean who was the UK Oprah.
Yes.
She's
there's
much,
a few.
much
Okay. Yes.
She's
Which was she Australian? Trisha.
Trisha.
Yeah.
Is it Trisha?
Yeah.
Okay, because she's in New York now. I spoke to her a couple of time ago.
Yeah.
We need those shows back. Those shows that are widely nationally watched.
You mean broadcasting on TV?
As well.
Yeah,
okay. Those things that are national institution, like Oprah has been for America, like Dr. Phil has been, like Trisha has been, even Leroy. I was on Leroy's show. You know that guy, that blonde guy who looks like
Kilroy.
Yeah. As if he came from the Young and the Restless.
Yes.
I've been on the show. Yeah, Silver Fox. And then on that show they show me how to make my eyes up, because my eyes are very out, and the makeup artist immediately find a solution. We need those shows back, because you've said something so huge. The Kardashian, you know, in France at the moment, they're criticizing those influencers to the point. But I've got an influencer page as well. But they don't show my face. So I can learn from this young generation. And I also know a couple of those influencers on French television who have millions of followers. Some of them I know them from their kid, and some of them I met them while they were on television. I don't think the Kardashian thing was a bad thing so much. What happened, there's something called the lipstick syndrome. Is when the society goes into crisis. Apparently it's proven the women more wear red lipstick. That's the old days. It's called the lipstick syndrome. But somehow, exactly, the glass, you know?
I see the fancy lip gloss.
Exactly. But when that lipstick syndrome adapted to our new era, became the heavy makeup. And the heavy makeup is actually a mask.
It's a mask, because you don't recognize some of the ladies after that. Exactly. It's really something like, whoa.
So the lipstick syndrome, if you search Google, is actually when society is really having it hard. But where did it come from? If we look at it, it's in the old days, the crisis, the war. You would find women looking for lipstick, because that was the only thing that makes them either stand out completely, because during the war, some of the women who were prominent were actresses, were celebrities, were divas. So you stand out of the crowd, or it's also probably a mean of competition. That means you get selected. In a time of crisis, women then find a way naturally as a herd, who they're always looking for husbands and for having kids. So how am I going to get picked up? But that lipstick syndrome, you find it in Brazil constantly. When I was in Brazil for many time, you will find that you have the totally natural girl, and then you have some girl from head to toe in the morning to evening. It's about body, it's about look. because they're in a very machist society. And in order to make it happen for you, all the way to South America, by the way, not just Brazil, if you're a model or you're a Miss, you see the Miss over there, it's an institution. It's the only way to actually get out of their condition without specific education. Because even if they had education, they would not reach certain level of society. And one of the movies that tells very well is Eva Peron, you know, with Madonna. That movie shows you how in South America, some girl could go from being nobody to being the wife of a president. And she goes step by step, and it's about the lipstick syndrome. So the Kardashian only exploited something which is a society phenomenon, but they've pushed it to a level where on their kitten heels going like this all day, they have chauffeur, they have nannies, they have cook, they have cleaners. But a girl who needs to go to Aldi on a little kitten heels and come back running after her brothers and sisters, it doesn't work. So the problem is people are trying to run away from their condition by inventing themselves a mask, a new life. And in France, did you hear yesterday what happened?
No.
The guy that called Malaga, I never heard about that guy before, but he's a friend of Sarah Frézou.
Oh, okay.
She goes, oh, he admitted that his life on Instagram, he removed all his picture from Instagram.
Was fake?
Fake. Because he's actually on benefit.
No.
Yesterday there was a drama in Paris.
Maybe.
He admitted it because he's on RSA, and then he says, I'm so sorry, I'm doing it for a girl, because now he met a girl online, and he goes to the restaurant. He admitted that the cars that he uses is a friend of his that rent luxury cars, that when he needs a car to go to the restaurant, he goes and pick up a car.
Oh my God.
And that the Dubai lifestyle, although I don't believe it, because I think it's the government who's been after him. His lifestyle shows them money.
Okay.
So now he's doing, he's rather been ridiculed.
Oh, well, that's why. Okay.
Because he was in Dubai, he was traveling, he was wearing executive clothes. He said that he was borrowing his clothes. But this is a very interesting first one, because it's going to send a shockwave to the influencers world, that actually the young people are buying a dream, which is understanding.
Because what Davina was saying, because you're right, Bijou, because I don't know if you have more to say. I wanted to add something on that.
No, but the thing is, just to finish, the thing is, I don't blame them, because when you have 3 or 4, 6 brothers in the same bedroom, that you don't have the space, and suddenly you open your Instagram and you can escape.
Yeah.
You know, like me, I enjoy watching Jazz, the TV show. When she was in Dubai, they were showing us something that is not on our doorstep. So yes, every single 14-year-old in their phone, they're a big part of it. That I understand. So I wouldn't say it's completely bad that we had that culture of Kardashian sort of thing. It becomes bad where the institution don't wake up and see how come these people have how much? 350 million between themselves. They have, I think, almost 1 billion followers.
Yeah.
If you calculate the whole Kardashian family, I think they have 1 billion followers between themselves. That's 1/8 of the entire world.
Yes.
Yeah. If the institution can't wake up and say how come a family's got 1/8 followers from the whole world, there's a problem. That means the world has a problem.
But I think this is what that's what I'm saying. I don't want to do the conspiracy theory, but sometimes it's like, do they want us to wake up because they see that? You see what I mean? But I think what you're saying is true, but it's bringing us back to the awareness, because I understand that we have that. When I feel like shoot, I will say instead of saying the word. When I feel down, this is where you want to dress up more, because it's uplifting your spirit. When you feel okay with yourself, I can't go out without makeup, without my best dress, because I don't mind. I'm in my best self. I understand that. But now we get to such an extent that we need to put back these things into reality. Myself, I have to do it. In my community for that, last month, I was doing self-love. I went there and I said, okay, video, looking at a challenge, look at yourself in the mirror, no makeup on, and love yourself. and tell yourself that you love yourself. And I've done this work on myself, okay? And I didn't realize that it was so hard for people to do that now, because people don't show up without any filter. You do a picture with a friend, did you put a filter? I can't show up like that in front of it. I'm like, how do you wake up? How do you wake up? Because this is not, we don't see real people. Without reality TV show will show you real people. I have to see myself in my family to see real people. Otherwise, I don't see real people. Okay? Oprah, as you say, help me on that and to say, yes, this is what I need to tell me. We are a human. I am a human being having a human experience. Yes. So I'm waking up all puffy because I'm human, you know? And this is what it is. And I have to love myself puffy with makeup on or not. And this is what I want to say to my woman, because most of the people in my community are women, and to the world to say, hold on, we are human. So all those Kardashian things that you say, okay, you're going to put more bomb, you're going to put this, as you said, the nails all the time, all that. I understand it's good for the beauty, it's good to dress up. I like to dress up as well, to put some stuff, but it is not the only thing. What we're going to do when we're aging, what we're going to do when we can't do all those things. This is why we have depression in COVID. People couldn't do, no, but you see what I mean? Because real life, you have to put me, I told you, you see like aging, I see that, I'm like, what you gonna do? COVID, some people were like, no, I need to find a way. Someone needs to come and do my nails. Somebody needs to come and do my hair. Because what do I do now? Now I don't even love myself because I'm myself with myself and I have to take care of myself. And I'm like, thanks God I've done this job and this work that I can look at myself in the mirror, either if I'm, you know, on my best self or not, because I need to love myself first. And I see that people don't see that because we don't put that out there for our women as well. I don't know. For me, there's two things. The social media brought it to that, and all this reality to say always put some stuff on. They're trying now sometimes to show natural. But me, this is my things where I need to. I needed to do the work to be able to do that. When I asked for people to do the challenge, the feedback I had is like, yeah, but maybe because it's too hard to do. Yeah, it's too big to do.
I think, sorry, makeup. There's nothing wrong with makeup. I think
no.
There's nothing wrong with makeup. It's when you don't look like yourself. It's when it gets to that point that it crosses the line where the person looks like a completely different person. I don't know if you've seen some of the before and after.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
yes. That's incredible. Look, I'm partial to some concealer, bit of blush, and lips. Nothing wrong with that. But I look like me in every single picture.
That's what I'm saying, huh?
Right? Yeah. But someone needs this whole thing about transforming yourself into someone completely different. That's sad. I find that's sad.
And preferring that person, because as I said, me as well, I come up like this. And preferring that person, that's the danger. You know, you prefer when you are preferring like that. Yeah, but
I wouldn't.
Sorry, Bijou.
Tell us, Bijou, what you think.
So sorry. I think coming from an industry where I see the models on stage and I see the models' lifestyle, and then I know their life. And sometimes we have amazing girls who don't have confidence. The society will class them as, wow, 6 foot, blonde, what society calls actually the success woman, tall, blonde, tall, leggy blonde. Let's call it like that. And blue eyes. Let's put the blue eyes on top. And then I know them from the background. And then I see the other side. And even those girls are not confident. And I'm the one who are teaching them to be confident. So I wouldn't say the Kardashian thing is a bad thing. They've made something that was sort of underground, they bring it overground. It's like it was an escapism. Even themselves, they couldn't carry it for too long. I mean, comes a time then after that it's no longer a trend. It's like, okay. But it doesn't mean that we watch them on television that they're like that every day. But it's true, it's a translation into the young people, in some young people's life that is dangerous, because in the sense that for those ones who don't have the Kardashian lifestyle or the Kardashian money, they're trying to have it every day. Because what they despise is not the Kardashian fact that they have makeup or not, it's their own life. And And it's not usually their own body, it's their own life living condition that those young people can stand. Being locked in a bedroom, parents don't listen to them, feeling insignificant. And then suddenly, by bringing something on their face, on their head, or whatever, designer good, even if it's fake, suddenly they become someone.
Okay, yeah.
So if I was to go to institution or society, I would tackle everybody being someone
Yeah.
to start with, because that would mean that if you have a platform which is solid, whatever you build on it is not going to fall down. But if you have a platform that is soft, even if you build the most beautiful castle, it will go down. And those young people don't have the platform, because nowadays in many cities, because before being an agent and before being even a model, I was working with my city, Les Ulis. And actually, Les Ulis is the city that sponsored me to come in England in '92.
Oh, wow.
Because when I was younger, I developed a program to help people build confidence through dancing. So I would teach them English through dancing because my mom speaks English. So I went to the mayor of the city at 16, say, what can we do something? And he said, we can't set up a new organization. But I said, let's do something, because those kids, in 20 years time, you will have a revolution, because they come from immigration, but they don't see anything else apart from the bubble of the city they're in. But their parents come from all over the world. So between the city and the world, there's a gap. And that gap, if you don't feel it, someone else is real or something else is real. And the mayor told me we can't do anything. That was in 1984. He said, but if you want, you could go into another charity. And then from there, I worked with them in the city for about 5 years. And they paid for me to come in England in '92. So interestingly, we had the revolution in that city a while after, because generation after generation, those young people were from Les Ulis, but then from all over the world. And there was nothing that was bridging the gap. And the thing that bridged the gap has disappeared year after year after year. There used to be parties, there used to be carnival, there used to be rooms like where kids could rent and have either parties or be connected. The connection has been diminishing year after year, and that is something the institution can do. They could make that local doesn't become any more poor. That means people's mind being local. Like if you ask someone today, have you ever taken a flight? They say no. People at school, they'd be like, really?
Yeah, exactly.
But in those days, it was okay to know only 32 kilometers in your whole life. What's the problem about that? But then the kid who say, I've been to South America, I've been to Bahamas, I've been to New York, is like, wow, you know? So nobody is perfect in his own land. So the moment you've seen the other land and you come back in your land, you're popular. So the kids that bring something from another land, and in this case, it could be the Kardashian, it could be the Jenners, it could be anybody else, it could be the new kids, they become popular in their own land. And the old land was the land of happiness, where nobody wears really makeup, everybody accepts each other. You see it in those small village towns, where sometimes it's called a small town girl. Someone comes, she's happy, she's like dressed, she doesn't need to impress. If we need to impress, it's because we cannot express.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah,
That's
I think what you say is good.
That is
the
true.
institution can do that for the cities, and I would say the education then, because it's something always, and I have I have dearly in my heart to say I need to do that. I love teaching, I love learning, and I'm like, I'm doing this, but one day I want to do and see the education that's educating us as human, instead of trying to see what are the talent for society and what is the need for society. Because it's like, what can you do that is good for doing a job? But we don't learn how to love ourselves exactly, because this example I had, this challenge, looking at yourself in the mirror, a teacher was doing that with with children. And I'm like, if you learn from a young age to do that, if you learn and to have those foundations you're talking about, that's part of the education, okay? Can we have that to love ourselves, to know ourselves, build confidence? Why we don't have this? Because for me, I'm like learning. If at school they would have put me this, I would not have to go to therapy or to try to see this course and to try to do self-development. Why it is not at school? So from this, the woman will be as well, and everybody, but knowing and have this foundation as a person and not get lost in society after, and then do their choice. Like you were saying, Davina, to be yourself, love yourself, give us our foundation, what we need from the education. Institution can bring the self-development courses at school, because now what do we learn? We do not learn life. You get to go to life and learn it the hard way, like I did. You know what I mean? They don't teach you life. Life teach you. You see what I mean?
Saying
I'm praising, I don't know. Life teach you. You see what I mean? They don't teach you life. You learn to laugh like this because you don't know what to do, and you see, and then you have those things. And now with social media, so how do they do? Personal development needs to be at school. I'm sorry, because I'm like, how come it's something extra you need to learn? Doing myself, how to be confident, what do I like? Because after, how you come at some people, you ask them 50, what do you like? What are your values? What are my values? You don't know.
I think school has a limited development possibility, but this, you know, when you mentioned, Debbie, schools and society and institution, for the first time, we have regressed, and now we need to go back to what society was. What was society? Everybody is society. You know, some child doing something wrong in the street and say, listen, kid, it's not patronizing by saying, don't do it. It's like, maybe what you do in X, Y, Z. So kids learn certain things at school. In our government nowadays, they're trying to be everything and everything at the same time. It's impossible. In those schools those days, I remember in the 70s, there's probably 2 black kids and 1 Arab, 1 came from India somewhere. Nowadays, in 1 classroom, you've got so many cultures and countries. That means the kids is at school today, but when they go home, they're in a different continent. Sometimes they're in a continent where parents don't even speak the language of the country. So and they come back the next morning. It's like they're traveling every day from one culture to another. I think somehow society and some places are doing it very well. They're doing some sort of a group, like Les Ulis used to do it, where people meet Asian. We used to have residents for Arabs, residents for the Black, residents for the Caribbean. You know, Les Ulis, how it was shaped. And then where women, and these women who would do that, who carry the mixity, the fact that people will mix around discovering someone's food. Food is one of the best way to travel and accept someone else. You eat samosa, you eat a spring roll, and suddenly you look at someone differently. You see? And maybe this is time where when institutions are lacking money, institutions are no longer prepared. It's up to society to stand up, rise, and make sure we glamorize something that was not glamorized before, which is meeting one another, which is talking. You know, it's unheard of that girls get raped or people get aggressive in the same building and nobody is aware of anything.
And what you say, because are you saying like society is different than the institution, right?
Society needs to back up
exactly
the institution up,
because and what you're saying is very much in here, and you will tell me it's different in Africa. Someone cannot do that. You try to stole someone, they will beat you up. Here is like, I'm walking. We are together on you. They will beat you up. That's what I mean.
In France, you know.
In France, the same, huh?
Story of this 10-year-old boy, you know, in the metro in Paris, the old metro, the one which was complicating. There were doors between 2 coaches. One door was open, and there was a 10-year-old with a school bag jumping from one of the, because the door normally are closed by security, but that one was open. So he was jumping. So each time the train would stop, he would hold on to something. And adults were sitting on that coach. None of the adults grabbed that kid and said, come on, kiddo, close that door. The kid was jumping from, and at some point the metro didn't move and he fell in between, died. So the question to all those adults around in the coach, and guess what the answer was? Because in France and in European world,
in Europe now,
If you go and grab someone kid, you can be sued.
Voila. And as well, yeah, the parents will tell you something. Yeah.
And that's it. So I say, how can you, on your right frame of mind as an adult, watch a 10-year-old jumping? He's not only standing there, he's jumping from one side to the other for fun. And you sitting there saying that you think his parents, or rather their parents sue me for grabbing that kid, closing the door, instead of watching him jump. So I think people say, oh, society this, society that. I say society is all of us.
Yes, exactly. I think we're becoming more individualist than collective. We lost things of collectivity is like not my problem. Sometimes I'm like, come on, how can you live with that? You know, like do something. It's society. You say people. You are people. You are part of people.
We are society. So at the end of the day, today we, the people who are enlightened, have the duty to show the light, shed the light on others for free first. Then once the light is in the room, people will start realizing things are in the room. I think people are so much in the darkness. That's why we're going from depression, from a lot of things, because people no longer have the ability to see what's on their side. They need to, they're so like this, that they need to look again. Tunnel vision. The tunnel vision was imposed by some industrial people.
Capitalism.
It's interesting to make people have tunnel vision so they're not aware of the journey. They only look at the destination. But if we go back to the journey, to what it was to have a carnival in the village, what it was to say hi to your next door neighbor, to bring a bit of soul, to bring this. Some people are going slowly back to that. But the thing is, we had to go in a circle, because the circle was local, and then suddenly the world opened up. We were doing things like the rich used to do. We went to Asia on holiday and came back. Our grandparents didn't have that capacity because there was no EasyJet, there was no British Airways new program. We did. Suddenly we went to see all over the world that is the same actually. Now we can do the journey back home, all a single one of us, and bring the news back home and say it's okay to actually just be us. We don't need to be a fake version or a dreamy version, because we went to India. Now that thanks to internet, we could be in India in 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's like here. Look, we're here. You know, we're from different parts. We're here.
Yes, exactly. United here.
Taking the phone, we literally could do this conversation with someone in India, in Japan, in Brazil. So we've done it. So what's next? Planet Mars?
Yes. Yeah. Let's see what's their life in there.
And I think
Davina, you wanted to say something?
No. I'm listening.
I don't know the name actually.
Davina.
Yeah. Okay, well, you've answered, the questions, my questions interlink, which is so interesting because
we've been everywhere in between.
Exactly. Because we're looking at the obstacles, we actually look at the obstacles, and we looked at how can we empower young people. We know the empowerment starts with us, and something you actually said in relationship to the mirror work. There's sometimes school don't have time to do the mirror work because they're so concentrated on the content because of the national curriculum that nothing else matters. They have no time for empowerment or development of that child confidence.
That should be part of the curriculum.
It should be part of the curriculum. I totally agree with you there. But sadly.
Sorry, because I know you're a teacher. It's not going against what you do. I love school, but the thing is like, how do I have to learn life by myself when I have to go to school? I don't understand that. I don't get that.
It is very true. It is very true. And it's quite sad that we are not preparing the young people to navigate the world outside there. We just program them for the capitalist society.
Exactly.
So therefore, anything beyond, they're not able to see. Yes, Davina, you wanted to say.
Is that because the parents are still learning now? Then we're all still finding our way. So how can the adults teach how well, I know now we're becoming more aware, but the adults couldn't teach the children something they didn't know, because everyone's still finding their way and just realizing about wellness and life and that choice, and things change. We all change careers as we go along. We reevaluate and we change and we move, and that's part of growing, right? If you're not growing, you're dying. We're always changing and evolving, and I think we're becoming a generation of adults that are finally starting to get it. But before now, we couldn't have taught what we didn't know.
That's true.
Davina says something so crazy. It's change. I think for me, it's change. Because you're right, the parents were educating those kids in the last 30 years of their own life. Things went too fast.
Mm-hmm.
We went from the telex to the fax to the mobile phone to the
here,
smartphone,
virtual.
In what, 30 years?
Yes,
that's not even someone's lifetime. I mean, we're talking 1980s when Saturday Night Fever was raging to now.
Yeah.
You know, Saturday Night Fever, we were all like,
yeah.
And now, I mean, going to school, I remember buying my first laptop in 1994.
1998, yeah.
It's crazy. And I had this 5 kilo thing in my hand, and it's so crazy now that we have a smartphone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Our parents are lost at the
total lost. And this is something that makes us obsolete too quick as well. What is the institution making to help us? Because you say sometimes it's so down to us, but you're going to school, you're going to work. So what time do you have to cope with all this? Where are the things put in place for us to follow? Our parents is like, poor them. If you don't help your parents, you don't know. Because already a mobile phone, and it's not even made for them. It's not made for them now. And it's going to so fast, like you said, no, you do that, like her. Hey, they didn't see that. My dad seen the phone like that, being surrounded, and like you tell him, oh God, I'm like, oh no. Where are they? Sometimes they don't know, like, who you talking to? Is it there? Not in the phone, huh?
Totally, yes. There was two things that happens to me with mobile phone. We went to Tanzania in the middle of the jungle, and we literally met a Maasai in 2009. And this woman, they were still drinking the goat's blood and having the flies all over their head. And I wanted to take
you a wizard.
Guess what happened? I have
you're a wizard, you're a witch. Like, what is this?
No. A very old Maasai woman with the wrinkle and everything, dressed in Maasai. She pulled up a mobile phone from her. I've got the picture.
No.
I was shocked. She pulled up the picture. I had a big camera, and she pulled up a mobile phone, and she asked us for money. I didn't even want to ask if she was on PayPal.
Yeah, exactly. No. But thank God is reaching there. Thank God is reaching there.
Is epic. Yeah.
Like this is the world upside down. You know, you go to a village where there's elephant. We finish working, and this woman had this
money.
Thing. I just went.
Because this is what it is.
You see, we went too fast, because if even something called Google. I did it with my mom, and I'm Afro-Caribbean, because normally you could get beaten up even at the age of 40.
Oh, yeah.
She said something, and I said, let's check on Google.
Yeah.
That means we question even our parents' experience. Say,
exactly. Yeah.
If it's true.
Yeah. Let me see on Google what you said. There's a what?
So what exactly do we want the kids to believe? You learn even people who are going to university right now, they started 2 years ago. They know that when they come out, their job won't exist anymore.
C'est ça. You see what I mean? That's why it's going too fast. Yeah, you're learning something. I'm like, but it's not there anymore. So everything.
We coach, we work with students who are ready to graduate to prepare them for the realities of life, to make sure that they understand what they want out of life, that they understand mindset of how to get through that stage of not necessarily getting what they thought they wanted, how to work through those goals properly, because it's a time when you're just vulnerable to mental health issues, because you've got to that point, you've done everything you're supposed to do, and then the world's not ready for you, you know,
Yeah.
and it's hard, it's harsh. So we concentrate, you know, on that part of society to help prepare them, because no one's preparing them, right? No one's preparing
them, Davina, but when you say the world is not ready for them, the world just closed for them.
Closed for them, exactly. It's not ready.
What you tell them? What do you tell them? For example, they're going to have £80,000 debt when they come out of their bachelor or their master, and by the time they come out, they better already prepare for a different kind of job.
Yeah.
What do you tell them, Davina? How do you prepare them, like you said, mentally to deal with that?
It's about that reality. It's about what they were. It's sitting down with them, understanding what they wanted to get out of their degree, why they chose to do that degree, what job they're looking to get, what the realities are of them getting that job, how will they feel if they have to go down a different route, what to, beyond a specific role. So a doctor, get it, you do a medical degree for a very specific role. But and most other subjects, you know, it's vague. So they may have done, I don't know, philosophy and wanted to do whatever. It's what do you want? Why do you want it? What's your big goal? What is it that's going to really make you happy? You know, it's getting to that point so they understand what their goal is. It might not be what they thought it was, and therefore then how do we get a plan to get to that? You know, if the goal was they wanted to be a teacher, why did you want to be a teacher? Because I really want to help children. Okay, what is it about children that you really want to help? Because I have an affiliation with, I don't know, you know, I had a small sister, but whatever their story is. And okay, what are the different ways that you can fulfill that goal if the one that you want doesn't work? Like, what are the different paths you can go down? How can we get a plan together to have that backup, to have something that, you know, it's that, so they're not feeling like a failure when they walk out of school. And yes, they will have debts, and the way that's structured is obviously based on how much you earn is how much you pay back in the UK. But it's about them not feeling like an instant failure when they go out, because they come out armed with choices and the right mindset to know that they can work towards their ultimate goal of happiness, with what most people's goal is when you break it down, and what it is that looks like. So, you know, it might not be what they thought it looked like. It might be, you know, they might have opportunities, that's great, but it might not be. And it's a way of them arming them with tools on so that they can, on a daily basis, to not feel like the world's ended. It's tools to assess your mindset, to unravel each morning. Okay, how am I feeling on a scale of 1 to 10? Why am I feeling this way? What can I do about it? What am I empowered to do today to make myself feel better? What can I do today to work towards my goal? It might just be applying for another job one day at a time. It might be, you know, might be today I need to take a day off. I need to exercise. I need to whatever. It's giving them the tools to be able to self-reflect every day and to stay on top of their mindset, to not give up. That's what we do with them.
Yeah, I want to add to Davina what you just said now. It's actually a very, very intricate point. And it's also very important to let them know that they can be open-minded to anything.
Exactly.
Because, you know, closed-mindedness has led a lot of people to depression. You know, they expect so many things, they look forward to so many things, and when it doesn't come, they feel the world has ended, like you said. You know, it's very important that as they grow, you let them know that failure is good, being successful is good. We just have to learn from both of them and move on. You cannot just stick to whatever it is or wherever it is you find yourself in and feel that's the end of the world. No, you can be any and everything, but you need to be open-minded to be able to go with and through it and be successful at the end. Yeah, that's how to
like it. Go through it. To go with and
through it.
I think through it is a journey, you know, as opposed to the destination. This is good, you know, to teach kids to go through the journey, through the motion.
There's no shortcut to life. It's a journey.
And Davina, you say that through the journey because you give them the tools. This is important to know what you said, the transferable skills, because we need now to prepare them to to follow the change that's going so quick. Because sometimes you say, oh, I'm doing that, so what else can I do now? Because I've been doing that all my life. So what else? What are the transferable skills? Do I have to go somewhere? So yes, you like that, but there's different avenue. That's why I hear from what you say. You show them the different avenue to go through because we need to follow the change. But we're doing that now. But what the institution are doing for that? Do we have enough awareness and sometimes not hidden agenda to next digital version of the job that people are learning now at school, you know. It's easier to see.
I like that between Davina and I forgot your first name.
Faith.
Faith.
Davina, Faith, and
Moi?
Frederic.
Frederic.
I like, bizarrely, the three of you just put together what could be like a program or a speech. You know, we should even go together.
Yeah, me, I'm awareness, I'm here.
A conjoint speech to, you know, those big town hall where they call the kids.
Yeah.
The school. I think this is messages that sometimes when you hear something from your teacher or from your parents, it hasn't got the same sound. When you hear from other people, suddenly it's like, really?
Yes, yes.
Because exactly. This is about going through the journey, teaching the kids literally to realize that what they're learning today may be transferable. And at the same time, what you're saying, Frederic, brings me to understand that it is not just about the transferable skills, but it's okay to be different people in one life.
Absolutely.
Because when you talk about generation, I'm from the generation of fonctionnaires in France. So people working from the States. And my mindset, I didn't know. I wanted to do a career in a company, which is what I did and make me happy, you know? And sometimes you're like, can I be another version of myself? As you say, you can be a different woman, and that's okay. Life is changing. I'm changing too. I'm the same person. My value can change. My job can change. My interest can change. What do I have? What are the tools do I have for that? And it's true that what we are doing now is powerful to show that. Because as you say, sometimes parents, the new generation will not hear it from the teacher either, but from us, the real people in the field, and probably be an inspiration to them, can show them this. I have kids to say, oh, so why did you go to England? And I say, and I can see they want to know, they're hearing me. So I can be a voice for them. So that's why I'm doing those things. And I like to talk and to go to this kind of conversation to bring awareness, to inspire the next generation, to motivate the current generation, you know, to say, you can go, darling. We are here, we are women, and we are doing it, you know? Like, this is what I like.
I've got a lovely format that just came to my mind. You know, when you're 16 and 17, you don't want to go to a conference who lasts 2 hours. But how about you invited to a party? And party is a half an hour conference.
Exactly. Party, and that's good because, you know, and you do the party, and then at least you have something, you know, you pass the message.
Exactly.
Just saying,
and they will not forget it because there's a party involved.
Exactly. They won't forget it because suddenly we give them a safe, nice, good party where they could show their handbags, you know.
This is information they need to hear.
I make you sweat. You don't realize you're having fun. Just shake. Let me shake those moves you shake. But you, darling, you're gonna, you know, exercise. You're burning those calories.
Because
it goes in hand with.
At the end of the day, they don't want to eat spinach. You put the spinach in the smoothie.
Exactly.
Right.
And teacher here, you know, the best way to learn something, having fun. So, when we have fun with it.
And to do it.
Yes. No, I was teaching them English by dancing. That's how I came to this country.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, it works. They need to hear it from all of us. The hot African mama, we've been too long in the dark. When I travel in the morning, 5 a.m., I catch my flight. Something always strikes me, sometimes want to make me cry, is I see my kind early in the morning. I see people, they're in the dark. I'm thinking, how long has this mother slept? Sitting here at 5 a.m. While I'm exciting, I'm going to the other side of the world. I'm like,
exactly.
And I walk, and usually they look at me because I've got suitcase. I look different. And I'm really looking at people here, and I'm thinking, how long have they been doing that in silence? They've got so much to teach us about discipline. Because someone was criticizing someone in the Caribbean recently. There was a story about a woman in Jamaica. I think they were saying she doesn't send enough money, blah, blah, blah. The woman was a cleaner in London, waking up early in the morning. And I was telling in the Bahamas recently, do you know what is the life of a cleaner in London at 5 a.m.? You know how cold it is when you walk out of your door at 5 a.m. sometimes, it's raining. Nobody's thinking of doing their hair right now because the rain is going to fall on it. You know, and then you're thinking they're not sending enough money for you under the sun. I think the narrative of us being assisted by all of us needs to stop. All the Afro-Caribbean world, that's one. Now the narrative that women need to struggle needs to stop as well.
Yeah, yes, tapping into ease, please, ease. Yes.
But we need to learn this.
It's been given from a very young age, and it is actually very sad. It's actually very sad.
Can I share a story? I don't know where you're gonna broadcast this, but okay. No. I said because I'm like, but I know some people will relate, and some people are, you know, sometimes we have a family story that we still are sometimes ashamed of. But I think sometimes it's good to share, because you will say like, you know, this thing of having it hard, work hard, because we have this in our inheritance in the Black community. Let me tell you something. We both, we were a big family with a lot of kids, okay, and women, so we could wash the dishes, okay? It's okay, because you have the cleaning, to do the cleaning in the house. And sorry, parents, just to share, and I don't know, probably they will not hear that, but it's just to explain. So they bought a dishwasher, okay? They bought a dishwasher because we bought this integrated kitchen, so with everything and the dishwasher. Guess what? We are not allowed to use the dishwasher. We had to wash the dishes. Sorry, we were 6, 7 kids, and we had to do that. And you know, when we do on the Sunday, we had to do all the plates from the nice cutlery and stuff, and how many things we had to. It was a long, you know, this washing the dishes was a long task. And I was like, okay, I kept that. You know, I didn't share that. It was in my family. And then I have my dishwasher now, and it was difficult for me to use it because I was like, but and I had to do the bath, and I was watching these things in the, you know, COVID, where people were talking about the inheritance, white privilege and stuff, and I'm like, the background you have and not having it easy. And I had this conversation with 2 friends. So you had the dishwasher, you couldn't use it. Ha, 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 ha. I'm like, yeah, it's true, but you know, it's these things of doing the hard things, working hard, doing this. What we were told is like, if you don't do what would you do if you're not washing the dishes? Like growing your nails? Like, do you think you're gonna be all pretty and that's it in your life? That's the message. Work hard so you can get something, you know, not having it easy. Another friend, she's telling me the same nowadays, few months from this conversation, telling me the same thing with her kids, to say, yeah, we have a dishwasher, yeah, but they wash the dishes. Why you don't put that, you don't use it? It's good. Now I make the part for me, I make the work to use it. And I encourage my friend now to say, because I know they have this, they didn't share, but I had the conversation and I said to her, but why you don't use it? Yeah, because life is not easy. They need to do something. I'm like, okay, hold on. So by washing the dishes, do you think you teach them to do something in their life? Don't you think that I think they've got homework, don't they? I think they have homework by being at school. They have already tasks. They can do something else by putting the things in the dishwasher, by putting the plate out. It will be a task, but it will be less time consuming. Let's use those tools that make our life easier. No? And I think, I don't know what you will think if you will relate. Me, I was ashamed before, but now I don't, because I'm like, I know other people have that. And me now, I'm saying this to my people who say, and then I say, yeah, that's the Kardashian and us. I'm not ashamed of who I am and my stories, because it can help someone else. Okay, because we have been told this. Our parents, my grandmother worked really, really freaking hard. And they told me this. They teach me to work hard, to have something. And now I'm trying to unlearn, to say, I can, you know, I have my dedication, but I can use the thing that can make it easy for me. Why not? Okay.
But, you know, if I bounce back on you, I had a dishwasher here for 1 year in Baker Street. I didn't use it either.
Which one?
I had a dishwasher here
So you see,
in the house.
you're relating.
But having said that, there's one thing at least I give into our mothers, our grandmothers, is to learn how to do it without.
No, yeah.
Because
Yes, of
there are
course.
kids today, they are so much in the new thing
Yeah,
that
okay.
they don't take a broom, they don't know how to
Yeah.
use it. I taught an Indian prince how to use a mop. He used the mop because I said something in a conversation that I was the employee of the month when I was 18 at McDonald's. He laughed at me. He said, "Are you proud of it?" And I said, "Yes, I am." He said, "Really?" I said, "Of course. I was 18. I was the employee of the month, and I'm the best at the broom, the mop." He was laughing his head off, and I said, took the broom, putting in his hand, said broom, and he goes no, and then he ended up literally mopping one day a bathroom. Guess what he said? He was so proud of himself. He was happy. He was like, he would come back to me, look, I've mopped. Because he knew how to move the thing physically. Now, it doesn't mean that every day is going to do it, but he knew that regardless of electricity and everything, he did something with his hand. But it's true, on the other hand, that I had 1 year a dishwasher and I didn't use it once.
You see? But me, there is two hands on the spectrum, because I get that. For me, the resilience, the knowing how to do without helped me to go through COVID really well, where other people were really struggling. Because I had these things, resilience, and I had that, I cannot do anything else, so I will do something else for myself that I can do now. Other people were struggling. When you say you used to always be free to go out, always this, but because I had other restriction before, knowing that sometimes we cannot go out, this is not something difficult for me. I know that it was good from what I learned. I'm not saying that is not, there is a lot of good things to know what to do by yourself. But it's the things, the point I was just making is like, I understand there's a end of the spectrum. But the point I was making is like, to make our life easy, this is something, use the thing that can make our life easier, can be something difficult because we have this background of doing it the hard way. Me, I'm struggling still with it, to be honest. And I'm working on it because...
guys, I love all your story, guys, because I think we are a force that we are not even aware of.
Okay.
This is not mountain that we could move with this kind of chats, and this is taking the chat to society.
Yep.
I hope it will help Debbie and share it widely to the community.
Very much. It was fantastic. I've just looked at the time and we went way over.
Yes. Put some beautiful ladies together to have something to say, and there you go.
Just fantastic.
Thank you, Mama. How is Baby going to bed?
Where is the little boy?
Faith, the little boy.
He has gone to bed. Okay. Yeah, I had to go take care of that. Thank you so much for asking. He has gone to bed. Yeah.
Like, it's nice to see the next generation standing next to us.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
and it's important. It's important that we empower them and they know how important they are to us and society. And that's something we need to do more often, because I'm afraid being in schools, the young people are not told enough how important they are to society and how important they are to us. And we need to remind them of the value they have to us, the value to themselves, and the value to society, because that is lost, because they feel that they have no value. They feel that they're not enough, right? And that is so sad, because every time in my lesson, before I start my lesson, I have to remind them how much I am grateful that they're in my lesson and how much I am so grateful for them being here, because as much as I am the teacher, they are also my teacher. So that's something we constantly need to empower these young people. They need us to empower them because they are a lost generation. We need to pull them back. And it's so important, we need to pull them back to remind them of their value, because that's something they are losing. They don't know their self-worth and they don't know their value. And it's quite sad. So thank you very much for that.
How many kids do you teach to on a daily basis?
Right. Well, you know, I've now, because I do agency and I'm now in a school that my classes are quite small. I have 2, 3, 4 sets of 15, 4 to 6 sets of 15. Whereas
15
in
a
another
class.
school I was in, sorry?
15 in one class, each session, 15 students.
Yes, 15 in one class.
Okay.
Whereas in the other class, the other schools I've been in before, I had 29 and 31. But now I have nice small classes that it's just lovely. I've got 15, you know, the biggest class I have is 26. Whereas another school I was in, every one of my classes were 26, 27, 31. And the time you finish teaching all these classes, 4 classes a day, when you get home, you are totally exhausted.
Yeah.
You know, and you constantly have to be empowering them because you want them to value themselves, because they don't value themselves and they don't feel that they're good enough because society have told them that they're worthless. And you might have a teacher that say to them that they're not good enough, or you're not going to do that. Why do you think you could become a doctor? Who told you could become a doctor? And it's like all this negativity. And I'm afraid it is projected to the minority groups.
Yeah. And we have to make that clear. Education and your personality is something different. Productivity, all the do, it's completely different of the being. And we need to make that clear. The evaluation you have, the rate you have, the grade you have at school, it's completely not linked of your self-worth at all. It's not about what you do, it's who you are.
Yep.
And it's education, because there's so much of that in our life, how much you are, the performance, that we got lost in knowing what we value.
Yeah, it is very, very true. Thank you very much, ladies. It was a fantastic women's space session. It was beautiful.
Thank you
All
so
I've left for me to do is thank you, guys.
much.
It's been fantastic.
Frederic.
I will try to connect with you ladies on your Instagram, okay, with the page with the link. Let's connect.
Yes,
And
definitely.
you had ideas, you know where to find us. You know where
Yes, I do. I will be
I will organize cocktail parties, and then I'll think of you ladies to be on.
Yes.
You.
You know, you guys have my Instagram and my Facebook.
Yes.
Thank you very much, ladies. Have a fantastic.
Thank you for having us. Thank you, ladies, for all your input. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a great evening, ladies. See you
Bye.